Until recently, it seemed that Apple was watching the artificial intelligence revolution from the sidelines. While OpenAI was launching new ChatGPT models, Google was accelerating the development of Gemini, Microsoft was investing tens of billions of dollars into AI infrastructure, and Elon Musk's xAI was rapidly expanding its capacity to train Grok. Apple remained remarkably calm. Many analysts called it caution. Others described it as the company's signature strategy of never rushing to be first to market. But as the industry continued to evolve, something else became increasingly obvious. Apple had genuinely started to fall behind. Siri, which was once considered one of the most revolutionary technologies in consumer electronics, gradually became a symbol of missed opportunities. Users increasingly compared it with modern AI systems and arrived at an uncomfortable conclusion. Apple's voice assistant was losing on almost every front. It understood context less effectively, handled conversations less naturally, struggled more with complex requests, and lagged significantly behind newer intelligent models capable of maintaining natural communication. However, the past few months have shown that something far more significant than a routine software update is taking place inside Apple. According to several highly respected sources, including journalists specializing in the internal operations of major technology corporations, the company's leadership has begun the largest strategic transformation since the launch of the first iPhone. If artificial intelligence was previously considered just one direction among many in Apple's product development efforts, it is now gradually becoming the central axis of the entire company. Many employees inside the corporation describe what is happening as a change of era. The goal is no longer simply to add a few new features to Siri or integrate a handful of intelligent capabilities into the iPhone. The ambition is far greater. Apple wants to build its own complete intelligent ecosystem capable of competing with the world's best AI systems. Against the backdrop of growing competition, it becomes clear why the situation is so serious. Today, artificial intelligence is becoming a new computing platform. The transition from traditional phones to smartphones was once viewed in the same way. Then came the shift to mobile applications. Now the era of AI assistants is beginning, gradually turning them into intermediaries between people and the digital world. In the past, users opened apps themselves, searched for information, compared products, planned trips, or wrote documents. Increasingly, artificial intelligence is taking over these tasks. That is precisely why the world's largest companies are investing hundreds of billions of dollars in this field. Particularly interesting is the fact that Apple has chosen a path that differs significantly from the strategies of its competitors. Most companies have focused on text-based chatbots. Inside Apple, however, increasing attention is being devoted to voice interaction. According to analysts, company leadership is convinced that the future belongs not to a chat window on a screen, but to natural conversations between humans and machines. That is why enormous resources are being directed toward creating a new version of Siri. Many people within the industry already refer to the project as Siri 2.0, although no official name currently exists. According to rumors, the objective is not merely to improve the old voice assistant. In reality, an entirely new intelligent system is being created. Imagine a situation a few years from now. You wake up in the morning and simply begin a conversation with your device. You do not issue isolated commands but speak as naturally as you would with another person. Siri understands the context of your previous conversations, knows your habits, can analyze documents, work with images, plan trips, answer complex questions, and assist with work, learning, and creative tasks. More importantly, it no longer exists as a standalone application, but becomes an intelligent layer present throughout the entire Apple ecosystem simultaneously. Your iPhone, Mac, iPad, Vision Pro, Apple Watch, and future devices operate as a single network unified by one intelligent assistant. This is where the most interesting part of the story begins. Many competitors treat Apple with far greater respect and caution than it may seem at first glance. The reason is simple. Despite its current challenges in artificial intelligence, Apple possesses something that almost no one else has. The company has more than 2 billion active devices worldwide, an enormous base of loyal users, its own processors, its own operating system, control over its hardware, and colossal financial resources. If a company like this truly begins to aggressively develop AI, the consequences could be enormous. Many experts compare the current situation to what happened at the beginning of the smartphone era. Back then, the mobile phone market seemed long established. There were dozens of major manufacturers. It appeared impossible that a single company could change the rules of the game. Then, the iPhone arrived, and the entire industry transformed within just a few years. That is why today's competitors are closely watching every move Apple makes. They understand that if the corporation truly unveils a breakthrough next-generation Siri, the impact could be comparable to the launch of the company's first smartphone. The question of computing power also deserves special attention. Over the past few years, artificial intelligence has become a true infrastructure race. Companies are building enormous data centers, purchasing tens of thousands of graphics processors, and investing massive sums into training new models. Not long ago, such expenditures seemed unimaginable. Today, the discussion involves hundreds of billions of dollars. Some analysts believe that AI will become the largest investment sector of the 21st century, and Apple is gradually becoming more active in this race. It is also interesting that the company traditionally focuses not only on model performance, but also on user experience. Apple's history shows that the corporation rarely wins solely through technical specifications. Instead, it strives to make technology as convenient as possible for ordinary people. That is why many observers believe that the future Siri may emphasize interaction quality rather than the number of model parameters. If modern chatbots often require users to phrase requests in specific ways, the ideal Siri should understand people with almost no effort on their part. Another important aspect is privacy. For many years, Apple has built its reputation around protecting user data. In the age of artificial intelligence, this issue is becoming especially important. Millions of people are beginning to ask, who owns their data, conversations, photos, and documents? Apple may use this factor as one of its most significant competitive advantages. Imagine an intelligent assistant that possesses the capabilities of the world's best AI systems while performing a substantial portion of its computations directly on the user's device. For many customers, that could become a compelling argument, but perhaps the most interesting aspect is that Apple's new strategy may extend far beyond smartphones. Some analysts suggest that the next generation of Siri will become the foundation for the company's future robotic devices. If voice intelligence truly reaches a highly advanced level, the next step could be the creation of physical systems capable of interacting with the surrounding world. Many corporations are already actively exploring such projects today, and although official information remains extremely limited, experts do not rule out the possibility that Apple is also considering similar directions as part of its long-term plans. Why does artificial intelligence generate so much excitement among the world's largest companies? The answer lies in its potential impact on virtually every sector of the economy. AI is already helping write code, generate images, analyze data, translate text, design new materials, and accelerate scientific research. In the coming years, its capabilities will only continue to expand. Many experts believe that we are in the early stages of a technological transformation comparable in scale to the emergence of the Internet. That is precisely why the world's largest corporations are striving to secure the most advantageous positions before the market fully takes shape. For Apple, this competition carries special significance. The company understands perfectly well that the future AI leader could control the next stage of consumer technology development. If the primary interface was once the touchscreen, in the future it may become the intelligent assistant. At that point, the key question will no longer be which smartphone a person uses, but which artificial intelligence helps them make decisions every day. Within the company itself, according to reports from various sources, there is a growing sense of urgency. Leadership no longer views artificial intelligence as an additional feature. It is becoming the foundation of virtually all future products. And if these plans are successfully realized, the next few years could become one of the most dramatic and at the same time, one of the most important periods in Apple's entire history. It is possible that the foundation for the next technological revolution is being laid right now. a revolution that will shape not only Apple's future, but also the future of the entire global high-tech industry for decades to come. If we look even deeper at what is happening, it becomes clear that Apple is currently in a highly unusual position. On one hand, the company remains one of the most valuable corporations on the planet, controls a massive share of the premium electronics market, and generates tens of billions of dollars in profit every year. On the other hand, for the first time in a very long time, there is a technology sector in which Apple is not considered the undisputed leader. And it is precisely this circumstance that has attracted enormous interest from analysts. Many of them are convinced that the company's leadership views the current situation as a strategic challenge, comparable to the threats Apple faced during the most important moments of its history. According to a number of experts, the issue goes far beyond Siri itself. In reality, the question is much broader. Today, artificial intelligence is gradually becoming a new layer of the operating system. If iOS was once the primary interface between people and their devices, that role may eventually be assumed by an intelligent assistant. Users will no longer manually launch dozens of applications. Instead, they will simply state a task, and the system will independently carry out all the necessary actions. Ordering a taxi, purchasing tickets, planning a trip, writing an email, preparing a report, finding information, comparing offers from stores, organizing a weekly schedule. All of these tasks could be handled by AI without constant human involvement. That is why there is growing discussion within the industry that artificial intelligence is becoming the next major digital platform. History shows that companies that miss a platform transition risk losing their influence. At one time, entirely different brands dominated the mobile phone market. Many of them appeared unbeatable. Yet the arrival of a new technological era completely reshaped the balance of power. Today, Apple is determined to avoid finding itself in a similar position. There is particularly intense interest surrounding the expected architecture of the future Siri. According to industry observers, Apple engineers are working on a system capable of understanding not only individual commands, but also long-term conversational context. This means that users could engage in conversations lasting hours, while the AI remembers details from previous discussions, takes into account the device owner's preferences, and adapts its responses to each individual. For a voice assistant, this could represent a genuine revolution. Imagine a situation in which you discuss a vacation with Siri several months in advance. A week later, you return to the conversation, and the system already remembers the details of your itinerary, your hotel preferences, your travel budget, and even recommendations that were previously discussed. This level of interaction begins to resemble communication with a personal digital assistant rather than the operation of a traditional software program. According to many analysts, this is exactly the direction in which the entire industry is moving. It is also interesting that Apple possesses an advantage that is often overlooked. The company controls its own processors. The Apple Silicon family of chips has demonstrated remarkable performance growth over the past several years. This gives Apple the ability to move a significant portion of AI computations directly onto users' devices. While competitors depend heavily on cloud data centers, Apple can build a hybrid model in which some tasks are performed locally and others on remote servers. Such an approach could provide faster performance, stronger privacy protections, and less dependence on internet connectivity. Some specialists believe that one of the company's greatest strengths lies precisely here. While other players focus primarily on enormous cloud-based models, Apple may create an ecosystem in which artificial intelligence is literally embedded into every device. This means that billions of devices around the world could gradually transform into a new generation of intelligent terminals. An even more intriguing prospect is the integration of Siri with augmented and mixed reality technologies. Despite the mixed market reaction to the first generations of spatial computing headsets, many experts are convinced that such devices will eventually become one of the key platforms for artificial intelligence in the future. When a user wears a device that continuously sees the surrounding world and understands what is happening around them, the capabilities of AI expand dramatically. Imagine walking through an unfamiliar city. Siri analyzes the environment in real time, translates signs, suggests routes, explains the history of buildings, helps with spatial orientation, and answers questions directly during the walk. This is no longer just a voice assistant. It is a digital intelligence that accompanies a person almost continuously. That is why some investors believe that the current artificial intelligence race is only the first stage of much larger changes. The next step will be the transition from text and voice interfaces to fully intelligent environments where AI interacts with humans constantly, and Apple has all the necessary elements to build such an ecosystem. Equally important is the question of competition. Today, there are several extremely powerful players in the market. Each of them has its own advantages. Some possess the largest artificial intelligence models. Others have enormous computing power. Others control cloud infrastructure. But Apple stands out because it combines hardware, software, and a user ecosystem under unified control. That is why many analysts believe that if the company succeeds in creating a truly outstanding AI system, its adoption could be incredibly rapid. Imagine that after a product launch, a new version of Siri becomes available simultaneously to hundreds of millions of users. No startup and virtually no technology company is capable of delivering such a scale of distribution in such a short time. This factor is precisely what makes competitors closely watch every move Apple makes. Many also ask why artificial intelligence is generating such enormous interest from the business world. The answer lies in economics. AI is capable of automating a vast amount of intellectual labor. It helps companies reduce costs, accelerate development processes, increase employee productivity, and create new products. In the long term, this could lead to massive changes across virtually all sectors of the economy. Some researchers even compare the current stage of AI development to the beginning of the Industrial Revolution. Back then, machines began replacing human physical labor. Today, artificial intelligence is gradually beginning to take over parts of intellectual work. That is why governments, investors, and the largest corporations consider this technology strategically important. For Apple, the stakes are especially high. The company fully understands that the next technological cycle may last for decades. If it manages to secure a leading position now, the consequences will be felt for a very long time. That is why more and more signs indicate that artificial intelligence is becoming the company's top priority. And perhaps the most interesting aspect is that we are only seeing the beginning of this transformation. Many experts are convinced that within a few years, today's artificial intelligence systems will look as primitive as the first mobile phones compared to modern smartphones. If this prediction proves correct, then the current competition between the world's largest technology giants will be remembered as the moment the entirely new digital era was born. And Apple clearly has no intention of remaining a spectator. It appears the company is preparing for one of the most ambitious leaps in its history, and the future Siri may be only the first step toward far more significant changes that will affect billions of people around the world. But if we look at the situation through the eyes of Apple's leadership, it becomes clear that this is not just about a new product or another operating system update. In reality, the company may be on the verge of its largest transformation since the launch of the first iPhone. Many investors are used to viewing Apple as a hardware manufacturer, but inside the company itself, a very different idea is increasingly being discussed. The future of Apple may no longer be built around devices, but around an intelligent platform that exists across all products simultaneously. That is why many insiders say that Siri 2.0 is supposed to become not a voice assistant in the traditional sense, but a full-fledged digital intelligence. The difference between these concepts is enormous. A traditional voice assistant executes commands. It responds to user requests and operates within a limited set of capabilities. A true intelligent assistant works in a completely different way. It understands context, is capable of analyzing information independently, suggesting solutions, and even anticipating human needs. Imagine an ordinary working day a few years from now. In the morning, Siri analyzes your schedule, weather forecast, and traffic conditions, and automatically proposes an optimal plan for the day. Then it helps you prepare for meetings, summarizes important documents, reminds you of unfinished tasks, and warns you about potential issues. During work, it can participate in discussions, help create presentations, search for information, verify facts, and even handle part of routine tasks on its own. In the evening, it helps organize leisure time, plans purchases, coordinates trips, and manages smart home devices. At first glance, this sounds like science fiction. However, many experts are convinced that this is exactly the direction in which the entire industry is moving. Moreover, some analysts believe that in the future, users will spend more time interacting with AI than using traditional applications. This means that artificial intelligence could become the main interface of the digital world. That is why many analysts interpret Apple's current actions not as a simple modernization of Siri, but as preparation for a much larger future. It is possible that in a few years it will become clear that the present period was only the beginning of a new technological era, an era in which artificial intelligence will cease to be a separate smartphone feature and will instead become the foundation of the entire digital infrastructure of humanity. And if Apple truly succeeds in realizing its ambitions, the company may once again find itself at the center of one of the largest technological revolutions of the modern age, just as it did during the era of the iPhone, the App Store, and the rise of the mobile internet.